With us, the government of Taiwan has commended Nigeria's diplomatic engagement with St. Lucia and the Caribbean states. President Bola Tinubu, on his recent diplomatic visit to St. Lucia, was honored with the prestigious title of Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia. In a statement, Taiwan's representative and head of mission in Nigeria, Andy Liu, described the honor as a laudable achievement in Nigeria's growing global influence. He praised President Tinubu's effort in strengthening ties between Africa and the Caribbean, noting that the visit and the award reflect not only the president's diplomatic prowess, but also Nigeria's rising international stature under his leadership. But joining us for this conversation is Taiwan's representative, head of mission in Nigeria, Andy Yiping Liu. I hope I got that right, and I didn't murder him.
Thank you so much for the nice conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Great.
Really a privilege to be in the program.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now, talk to us about why this, visit by Nigeria's president to St. Lucia is of utmost importance to Taiwan, because we know that, yes, when you're talking about diplomatic relations, Taiwan just maintains a few with a number of countries like St. Lucia and some other countries in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So when we talk about diplomacy, as a senior diplomat from Taiwan by profession and by training, it's always our major concern to see any other country do a good job in promoting their national image and their national development in other countries. So for me, myself and my government, we have seen President Bola Tinubu taking a very bold and courageous move to go into the Caribbean. None other African country, or very rarely, we have seen African leader have been putting focus on the Caribbean area, because that area had been either certain African descendant had been taken to that area long ago. By having an African leader to visit that area and putting connection into your African descendant, and also having a focus on the development in that area, and also link it with the Africa and the Caribbean, these two areas to develop at the same time. That is a courageous move, and we really congratulate that.
Interesting.
Yeah, you see, it sounds encouraging hearing that coming from a diplomat like you, because when he made that trip, he suffered some backlash back home here, and people were saying, why that country? Why did you go there? And so on. Diplomacy is something that I need to learn as a person, because at times these things happen and I'm looking for the relevance. I really can't see the relevance. Could you pinpoint the major achievements that President Bola Tinubu had succeeded in getting by this visit?
Okay, when we see His Excellencies making the decision of putting the state visit, it means he's very serious of putting Nigeria's diplomatic endeavor into a faraway area. But that faraway area doesn't mean had no connection with Africa, no connection with Nigeria at all. Actually, it had a deep-rooted connection. So that's why when we look into his 4D doctrine for his democracy, development, demography, and also diaspora, it reflects almost everything into his 4D doctrine. Okay. Because diaspora means you have to call on your people, your children, from generation to generation to other countries to connect with your motherland. That's one thing. And also to call for your diaspora, either coming back to Nigeria or having Nigerian to go overseas to do the, we call it the two-way traffic connection. And from our point of view, because we have 4 diplomatic allies that fully recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state in the Caribbean. Besides from St. Lucia, we have St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have St. Kitts and also Nevis, and also we have Haiti. All these countries might not sound like a big country, but in the Caribbean, whoever they are and whatever level of development, is for the world leader to pay attention to those countries is remarkable. Just like Taiwan, we've been having decades of diplomatic relation with those countries. We're putting our assistance for developing either women empowering, youth capacity building, medical, agriculture, and all kinds of development projects. We don't have the big money, billions of dollars, throwing into those countries for building railway, harbor, and airport. But we help them in whatever way that Taiwan developed into what we have today. We would like to offer our assistance to those countries. So we have seen a very coincidentally similar kind of idea that His Excellency President Tinubu had done almost the same path. So we are extremely happy to see Nigeria establish diplomatic relations with St. Lucia. Just happened to be one of our diplomatic allies.
Exactly.
So this is why we think President Tinubu had done so much in promoting Nigeria internationally in a good image, in a good way to connecting with your diaspora abroad.
And it's beautiful to see. We are quite excited, but I want to go from the youth angle, because I know that when we talk about Taiwan and we talk about tech, you're very strong when we talk about tech.
So much.
Amazingly well. So what are we trying to do? You know, are we going to do any collaboration between the Nigerian youth and Taiwan youth in terms of tech? Are there going to be conferences where we get to, you know, empower them in tech, since you are very strong in tech? And also, is there going to be any visa-free travel as well? I'm talking in layman terms. I want to know what Nigerian youth and Nigerians as well will be enjoying from this collaboration.
Right. I think that's the core issue that we always like to discuss with any of our friendly countries around the world. Besides from our diplomatic ally, and any country who has done collaboration with us, we always put the youth capacity building and women empowering put into a hand-in-hand promotion. In our diplomatic ally, we always have the women empowering and youth capacity building in terms of computer literacy. Information technology capacity building. This is what we need to have the youth in any other country as the same as our country to develop technology-oriented development. So, like you said, Taiwan is so advanced in high technology, but it took us 30 to 40 years to develop what we have today, because Taiwan had no natural resources. The only thing we have is the brain power. How to achieve brain power, education after education, generation after generation of devotion into education. So up to today, we are so proudly to say that our illiteracy is less than 2%. That means 98% of our people can read and write and to work. So this is a guarantee for our country to have, abundant and continuation of workforce, not just for ordinary industry or line industry, but also for advancement into research and development. This is how Taiwan developed.
Not to cut you short quickly, let's talk about visa travel.
Sure.
How is it easy for Nigerians to get into Taiwan?
Okay, for the moment, we have 3 major visas for Nigerian visitors. The first of all, the business visa. Business is always the core idea for any Nigerian visitor, right? Abroad. So we have facilitation at these hundreds and hundreds of Nigerian visitors to Taiwan on business visa. The second visa is called the degree study visa. Any people who want to go to Taiwan for study, no matter short-term training or a degree study for master degree, doctorate degree, we always have the student visa. The third visa is called the family reunion visa. That means if a Nigerian lady married to a Taiwanese man, eligible for this kind of family reunion. And most of the time, Taiwanese lady married to a Nigerian man, she can come over and help her husband or her future mate to apply for visa to Taiwan. But because Taiwan and Nigeria, we haven't opened for any ordinary visitor visa because there was no tourism visa. So we have to have a mutually beneficiary basis. But for now, I can proudly say that for the last 10, 15 years, we have at least 200 Nigerian people, either from the government or from private sector, visit Taiwan on a specialized training course visa. From cybersecurity to agriculture to fish farming to a daily kind of a vocational training. More than 200 people have visited, and they came back, become a Taiwan alumni. You have a Taiwan alumni here in Nigeria now. Not too many, but at least we are going into that direction, and we're attracting more people coming to visit Taiwan. So we're doing it in a rather low profile way.
Getting there.
But thank you so much for the question.
So the process is seamless. That's one thing that Nigerians would like to know. Is the process seamless for getting these visas that you have reeled out?
Yeah. So because we have a specialized kind of a visa section in in my office. So just like any embassy, we have political session, economic session, and also visa session. So visa session, the director working under me, but I can always answer that. Anyone who wants to go to visit Taiwan with a proper invitation letter, with the purpose of visiting, either for business or for attending some of the trade show, exhibition, with a proper invitation, there shouldn't be a problem.
All right, so the other aspect that the president spoke about is the aspect of health care, which is also critical when we're talking about empowering people and also looking also at capacity building. How is Taiwan looking at deepening ties with Nigeria now, as much as Nigeria is looking at deepening ties with St. Lucia?
Well, our way to help other country is based on our own experience. So education and healthcare, these two are the most valuable parts of our kind of national development and also other countries. So we have sent medical mission into certain countries directly and helping them to set up like hospitals and also for doctor and nurses training. This is purely and specifically for any diplomatic ally that we have. So besides from the Caribbean, the only diplomatic ally in whole Africa is called the Kingdom of Eswatini. It used to be called Swaziland. It had diplomatic relations for more than 4 decades. We have embassies and we have medical mission, agricultural mission, vocational training mission in that country. And our president visited that country about 1.5 years ago, launching a newly renovated hospital with our medical team installed into it, and also training for Eswatini medical doctor in Eswatini and also back in Taiwan. So this is capacity building we want to put into for the local capacity to grow, not just go to Taiwan for training, but
in Nigeria.
In Africa, in Eswatini.
Okay, yeah, I know. How about Nigeria? We're looking at.
We haven't come up to that yet because there's I can't say obstacle, but there's certain kind of improvement need to be done between Taiwan and Nigeria. Because I have to say frankly, because our mission used to be in Abuja from 2000 until 2017. But 2017, your previous President Buhari, has instructed our mission to move out of Abuja to Lagos. So this is certain frustration our government and our people have experienced. So we call for His Excellency President Tinubu, because he said it in about 2.5 years ago during his presidential campaign. He would like to make the southeast of Nigeria become Taiwan of Africa. He didn't say other country. He didn't mention Korea or China, but Taiwan specifically. I think in his mind or in his staff, Taiwan must be an outstanding example for Nigeria to take reference from, because we are a perfect example of non-oil economy. How we develop and how we promote our education, how we promote our healthcare, because we have a national healthcare taking over 90% of our citizens. We have to have a strong hospital, strong medical doctors, strong nurses system to support that. This is how we can share our experience with Nigeria. But we need to have certain improvement and a grand policy design of how Nigeria would like to look into Taiwan as a good partner.
So quickly, before you come in, Etoma, are you saying that you've not been able to have an engagement with government at this point regarding these bottlenecks that you have faced?
Thank you for that term, bottlenecks. We would like to see how the bottleneck created by President Buhari in 2017 to be improved in the current administration under His Excellency President Tinubu, because he had declared a very visionary declaration that he would like to make the southeast of Nigeria become Taiwan for Africa. Not just Taiwan for Nigeria, but Taiwan for Africa. This is a very bold and very visionary declaration. We are ready and will be fully cooperate with that under certain kind of a government-to-government consultation. I will not use negotiation, but consultation. Everything will take into concrete consultation before we can set up policy guidelines for our government to respond to what your government would like to seek cooperation with us. We have all kind of development package that we have in St. Lucia, and we have in Africa our diplomatic ally of Kingdom of Eswatini. We have full package, so we encourage Nigerian either celebrities, politicians, or big business tycoon to visit that kingdom to see for your own eye how Taiwan can help any African country, because you have 36 states. Any state will be bigger than St. Lucia, will be bigger than the Kingdom of Eswatini, will be bigger than Taiwan. We have no natural resources. You have everything that we envy. If a Taiwan small island with no natural resources can be successful, why not any state of Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry for taking too much of time.
No, it's fine. The explanation was necessary.
The explanation, the education is fantastic. There are a whole lot of things you said that I had never really related to. So please feel free to expatiate as much as you can. They say my friend's friend is my friend. All right. Yeah.
Thank you for that saying.
My friend's friend is my friend.
Yeah.
And what the president said about making the Southeast the Taiwan of Africa is because the people in the Southeast think like the Taiwanese people.
Really? Thank you so much.
Yes, oil is not the major thing.
Yeah.
We have other ways of getting...
entrepreneurship, industrialized.
Good. That is fantastic. And based on that, I just read recently that one of the fastest electric cars in the world was created in Taiwan.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
All that technological knowledge is what I'm interested in. How are you going to package it and bring it to Nigeria?
Well, first of all, you have made me more proud of myself. And second thing that the most recent trend, well, probably in the last one and a half years, is in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia has exclusively inviting Taiwanese company to set up electrical car manufacturing assembly line in Saudi Arabia. They want no other country but Taiwan. Saudi Arabia had all the financial support. They said, you don't need to bring money, bring your technology to Saudi Arabia. And this is how US President Donald Trump had made in last month. He led a big delegation to Saudi Arabia, to UAE, and to Qatar, explaining how the future world of technology collaboration is in terms of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, electrical car, and also with all the satellite kind of a communication. Nothing will work without Taiwan's semiconductor and chip in there. And we have been regarded as the most trustworthy partner for manufacturing artificial intelligence related technology. Because we are the most trustworthy partner for the US, for Japan, for Europe, for Australia, and for India. We mean no harm to anyone. We don't come to your backyard to dig your gold illegally. We don't do that. We only do legitimate business. That's why Madame Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has paid attention to Taiwan development model as the top 20 best model in the world. We're so proud.
Yeah.
And you have made me even more proud.
No, but quickly, let me just ask you this. In terms of technology, we've spoken about how well, Taiwan does that.
Yeah.
But I want to speak about the long term. Yeah. Oftentimes we hear things like this, they're juicy, they're nice, but after a period of time, we just hear that it has gone down the drill. What is your long term? And I also want to hammer, I speak for the youths in terms of technology. Are you doing anything like exchange programs? How can these youths be impacted? And I want you, in layman terms, for our youths watching, how can they benefit when we talk about technology from Taiwan?
Thank you. This is a crucial issue because we have now a dozen of diplomatic airlines. Any of the airlines, besides from the Holy See, I mean, the Vatican, that country does not need our assistance at all. But in any other country that have development cooperation with Taiwan, core issue is how we help them to develop about the youth capacity building. So we have a lot of exchange program with all the diplomatic airlines in any country who would like to see Taiwan as a development partners. And what kind of government agenda listed out by that government will have a consultation with our government, because you have to come government to government connection first. So that's why I have encouraged your federal government to form a delegation, either by the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ministry of Culture and Youth Capacity Building, or Digital Economy. Form a delegation, come to Taiwan, led by permanent secretary level, and we can have a government-to-government consultation. This is how Taiwan has been doing with Australia for the last 20 years. Every year we have consultation on agriculture, energy, and mining. These three terms apply to Nigeria perfectly. But Nigeria had never done anything like that consultation with us. So I really encourage Nigeria to pick up the pace.
Before we let you go, another matter. Another matter that we are looking at is the matter of climate resilience, which we see that Taiwan is also doing with St. Lucia as well. So how can we help Nigeria also build on that, as much as you're looking at government-to-government conversation to push, be it trade volumes, whatever it is you want to do, but also climate resilience is a key issue.
Right. Taiwan is an island that suffers volcano, typhoon, tsunami, and earthquake. We have all the natural disasters that you don't have, but you have the flooding, you have the serious flooding. Taiwan has been flooding all the time, but Taiwan can still survive and develop like what we have. So our early warning system, our disaster response system have been working based on our instinct of survival. So every year we provide at least 2 training projects for Nigerian specialists to go to Taiwan. We have called for NEMA nomination for government officials to go to Taiwan. And we have been holding a lot of international collaboration workshop and also international conference. Even without any government engagement now, but we encourage government officials to go to Taiwan. So we will continue to do that. So Taiwan response for natural disaster can be a valuable reference for Nigeria.
Absolutely. And that would be a fine place to leave the conversation. Andy Yiping Liu, Taiwan's representative, head of mission in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking your time.
How do they say thank you in your language? I love to learn languages. How do we say it?
Well, thank you so much. It's called Mandarin Chinese.
Okay, so how do we say it?
If we talk about just chatting, so 谢谢 means thank you. 谢谢.
Just like that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you
after
so much.
the break, the federal government refutes claims suggesting that water has been released from the Lac Dam in Cameroon, describing them as false and misleading. That will be the focus of the next conversation after the break.